What's going on, people? It's Baba Will. And this topic that I'm about to discuss is about, you know, I guess men who are insecure. Insecure men who feel the need to break up happy homes or break up solid relationships, or at least they try. Some people call them simps. Some people call them, different pejorative terms to describe their behaviors in negative ways. But this is a brief commentary that I'm going to share in regards to men who behave in those ways. Because it speaks to insecurity. It speaks to a lot of selfish, issues. There's low self-esteem, low self-worth, and projection. Men who may not feel good about themselves, project issues onto other people. Or, there's a lot of counter-transference and things that are taking place. To sort of like fill a void that they have within themselves, an emptiness. So, in order to, I guess, feel better or feel good about themselves, they would seek out, ways to fulfill whatever need they have to gratify whatever it is that they feel like they need to have. Instead of working on themselves, they would use platforms on the internet, social media, different platforms, interactive websites like your Facebook. You have your Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, application that's out there that, people use to communicate and socialize on the internet. You have certain men who would just jump on the internet and troll people or follow. For example, they would follow pretty women, beautiful women who they know. Okay, these are not just anybody. They would follow women who they know are in relationships and try to draw their attention. Get the women to focus on them instead of paying attention to their own, relationships. They take the level of, vile and disgusting, low, dirty, underhanded methods to a whole nother degree. It's one thing to, want to date, want to explore, want to reach out and make connections to people. Of course, human nature, people need human contact. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you know that, you're trying to deal with someone who's already in a relationship, you're reaching out to a woman who's already in a relationship, you're being disrespectful. Okay, you're being disrespectful to the woman and her relationship, and you're being disrespectful to yourself as a man. Men don't behave that way. I mean, not men who who are sure about themselves, men who have confidence. Men who know that they're able to make a way for themselves. Okay, men who are pretty much directed, who have the guidance, who are reassured and are comfortable with the decisions that they make, good or bad, and learn from their mistakes. We don't behave in ways to tear other people down or break up happy homes. Okay, but you have people who do that. You have people who even purport to be your friend, but they'll go behind your back because they know you're paired up with a lady. And I know this because this is real life stuff. It's not something I'm creating out of my mind. I'm just sharing a thought out here that, a lot of men who are insecure, they behave in ways that are sneaky, that are conniving. And it goes against anything positive that a man should really do. A man should really be able to own up to their, take onus on whatever issues. A responsible, hardworking, positive male role model knows how to conduct themselves out here. Okay, especially when you're dealing with when you're dealing with men who have relationships. We know how to conduct ourselves out here, especially if we're responsible. We're taking care of our own. We're providing for our loved ones. We're providing for our families. This is what we do. We don't have the time to waste, to wallow in insecurity and exercise poor judgment, extremely poor judgment, by breaking up happy homes. But this is how some people behave out here. This is how some men behave out here. You know, they function as if they don't have the wherewithal or the backbone that it takes to get their own on their own. You know, so they're going to, follow follow profiles of pretty women who they wish they were in a relationship with, who they're jealous of because they're jealous of their partners. They would say that, they would question the ladies and say, why are you with this guy? Don't you know he's a cheater? And throw slander in the mix too. They would create lies. They would create fictitious situations just to ruin a happy home, just to ruin a happy home because they're jealous. They're extremely jealous, and they wish they had what another man has, what the hardworking man has, what the provider has, what the true, person who's really responsible and grounded and has a foundation and who's sure of himself. You can tell the difference between a man who's confident and a man who's insecure. That's evident by the way that they carry themselves, by the way that they speak, by the way that they interact, among others in the world. You can tell the difference. You can tell who's who by the way a man carries himself, But then you have the internet where people can create personalities and create identities, and, they can hide behind their insecurities. This is what men do. So this is a message to all the men who are hardworking, all the men who, who strive to work hard to improve themselves and provide for their loved ones and to be responsible. Okay, this is a message to you all to just be aware that there are people out here who are not in support of your happiness. You have men who might be even in your circle. You have men who might be even, a member of your friend list, let's say on Facebook or another social media platform, who will vie for the attention of your wife, your girlfriend, your paramour. They would vie for their attention behind your back, okay, and throw snide comments and digs at you behind your back. And if you don't have a solid, committed, strong foundation with your wife, the madness will grow and continue. It can cause a serious problem, especially if you have a home where it's established, a marriage, you have children involved. People get affected directly and indirectly by everyone's actions. And these are the things that can cause, great disturbances and conflicts because of an unhappy, insecure, jealous, man who has low self-esteem and hasn't been able to resolve their own issues. Everyone has a story. Everyone has problems, but to go to the extent of communicating with your quote unquote friend or another person that wife or girlfriend, it's, on the internet to try to get the girl to, leave the man by saying that they're ugly, that, you think that they're cheating. You're telling I know people who do this. Okay, I know people who do this who I don't associate with. And this is why I'm putting a message out there, because this is real. I don't associate with individuals who behave like that. I keep my circle a certain way, filled with quality people. That's another thing that's key out here. It's not about how many people you know, how many friends that you have. It's about the quality of people that you keep around you, who are going to inspire you, who are going to feed you positive energy. So that way you can give off what? Positive energy. So that way you can grow, you can develop and be a greater person. It feels good to be good. You know, it feels good to be surrounded by good rather than the bad, rather than people who are secretly envious of your success and your well-being. So I know men who do this. Well, you know, they don't, they're supposed to be men as far as, you know, their gender is concerned, but they don't behave in a respectful way. So I cannot fully call them men. I call them something else. But I don't have time to be, you know, to stoop down to their level and be disrespectful. I'm giving this message out here because the world needs to hear it. The world needs to hear it. You have guys out here who purport to be, you know, upstanding, and then some of them hide behind certain circles of faith. You know, they might purport to be religious individuals just so they can hook up with women, pretty women who are paired up with other men. They'll follow the posts of the ladies. They'll look and see how many people like their posts. Check to see how many men like their posts. Check to see if the women's husbands, boyfriends, paramours like the post. And if not, that's their window of opportunity to jump and send them an inbox behind the scenes or a direct message, however it is that they communicate with these people behind the scenes, okay, to get to try to, you know, violate the relationship. This is what they do. This is what they do. Sad, despicable cretins who behave less than civilized. You know, this is what some men do who purport to be men, who are completely insecure. You know, and then in some cases, when the women shut them down, when the women just tell them, no, don't you know so-and-so? Don't you know my husband? You know, and this is the problem, right? So the women would, you know, expose them and say, hey, yeah, but, you know, I know you, but thanks for adding me to your group or your Facebook or whatever, Instagram. And, you know, thanks for the compliment, but don't you know my husband? Don't you know my boyfriend? The guy would say, yeah, but what does that matter? That tells you everything right there. And if you have someone who's really, you know, a woman who's really by your side and committed and doesn't stand for the disrespect, you'll shut it down. And once she does, the other person, the insecure cretin, is embarrassed, you know, and is put to shame. And they have to put their tail in between their legs and walk away. You know, in some cases, you know, some people are mentally ill. They just can't take rejection. That's the problem. You know, you have all types of issues that can come up out of these things. Stalking, you know, it produces a bunch of different issues. A person can become a stalker where, you know, you might have to get restraining orders behind, because everyone out here is not mentally stable. Everyone out here is not mentally, you know, fit or healthy or well. So this is what goes on. So, you know, that social media business, you know, with insecurity, when you have men who are just doing different things and trying to, you know, get to know people, but they're doing it a different way that's wrong, where they're trying to get to know people who are already in relationships and who are married or who are in, you know, full-time committed relationships, and trying to disrupt that by pulling the women away from them. There's a subculture of people who do that. And they need to be exposed. And for all the good men who are out there, keep doing what we do. We have to keep doing what we do to separate ourselves from the bad image that the insecure men paint. Because the actions of those, you know, it puts a stain on those of us who are trying our best to provide. It puts a bad image on the men who are doing our best to do the right thing out here. It really does. But it's okay, because it's through hard work. It's through, you know, concentration, determination, dedication that you'll be able to, you know, reap the benefits and of your labor, reap the benefits and the rewards. Watch everything come to fruition into a certain way where, you know, what you've done, the toil, the focus, the concentration, everything you've done to provide for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones, for your children, you know, it works out in the end. It all works out in the end. And the biggest part about this whole thing is these men who are insecure could learn a thing from individuals like myself. They could learn a thing or two, but they choose not to. So they'll continue on that path to lose. I'm here to win, because even when we lose, it's an opportunity to learn, so you can never experience that mistake again. So you're always winning. Be well, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe to my video. Take care.